What's up, everybody? Noah Kaser and Kyle back here. This is the start of a brand new show. It's not Noah Kaser Live. It's been commandeered. I have one of my greatest friends on here. Welcome on, Kyle.
Thank you so kindly. I love coming on every like once or twice a month. Like it's really like to talk to you like semi face to face is really it's it's rejuvenating. So it really feels nice. Thank you for having me back on.
We text pretty much every day about something.
Yeah, we do. And it's half of it has to do with like regular stuff and half of it is like, should we do this for the show or what should we do for the next? So it's a pretty even balance.
Yeah. Now sometimes it's sports, sometimes it's films, but most of the time it's what are we going to watch and other things. And we love our movies, but by God, we have to check up on each other's families too, because that's a part of it too, because there's more to life than just movies at some points with all the moms and the grandmas and the girlfriends and everybody else. We have to check up on them because they're just as important and a lot more than the movies.
Absolutely.
But what's very important right now, there's a tornado outbreak down south. So I just want to give my concerns to all those guys in the Mississippi and Alabama area. Everybody south and north of there, be very, very careful. Everybody from, I'm going to say, Mobile up to Nashville. Watch the weather. I know I do. I've known this has been coming for a long time. I'm a weather nerd. I hate to see the 5 out of 5 high risk. That scares me because that means a generational big time storms that are serious. And I hate to see that.
Yeah. Stuff like Hurricane Sandy and Hurricane Katrina. Like that's.
Yeah. Now, thankfully, this isn't like a Twisters where this is a generational thing. Like all the way back in April 27th of 2011, there was, I think, 69 tornadoes in the state of Alabama.
Wow.
So, man, I really, no. But we're not here to talk about the weather. And we're not here to talk about airline food because we are not Jerry Seinfeld. So, or jazz. But we're here to talk about what we watched in the month of February. And this is the start of the brand new show, Noah and Kyle Live. The new intro will be up next month. And we're going to start off with Kyle first. We will go week by week. And we don't count how many people, how many things we watch within a week because we are both busy and we watch what we can.
Mm-hmm.
So let's get right into Kyle's first, and we'll go from the 1st all the way to the 8th. So the first up for you was this one.
Dogman, yeah. Dogman is by the way, Universal is like rushing this movie onto like it hits DVD and Blu-ray in like a week or two. So it's already coming to home media and Peacock very soon. But this was good. So Dogman was a little after my time growing up. I grew up with the same author, but Captain Underpants and not Dogman. And Dogman was a creation of the two main characters in Captain Underpants. Mm-hmm. It's incredibly silly. It's incredibly ridiculous, but that's the whole goal of it. And it's just, it's a whole lot of fun. And I highly recommend it. I thought it was a lot of fun. Molly and Mace couldn't make it because they had come down with something really sick or something sick. Wow, I know how to speak English. They had come down with something like, I don't know like how I missed it, but it was something that was going around. So they got hit by it, but thankfully they're all good now.
Yeah. I was right there with them. I was right there with them. My whole family got it. And well, no, my mom didn't. My mom is the only one who didn't. So my dad got it from a coworker. He gave it to me, and then she gave it to me again. So
Everybody in my house has been sick in the month of February except for me. I don't know how the hell I dodged that, but watch. I say I dodged it, and then tomorrow I'm gonna wake up. Holy fuck!
Yeah. But they'll see this when it comes out on streaming, and I'm sure that he will drive Molly crazy with it.
Oh, he'll love it. I
Yeah.
know it's going to be something that he'll really really want to see.
Unfortunately, I missed this in theaters because that was the time where everyone was sick, and I'm like, I'm gonna stay away from the theaters for just a little bit. But your next film is one that I have seen. Indecent Proposal.
Yes, February was the start of Romance Month. Last month I did January was Documentary Month. Last month was Romance Month. And I liked it because I could intermingle like different romance subgenres. Like I could do romantic comedies, romantic dramas, romantic thrillers. And this one is a romantic drama. This earned a shit ton of money back in the day when it came out. And it's an interesting plot, Indecent Proposal, except after an hour into the movie, it has no idea what to do with itself because it seems like it hits a brick wall and it's over with. This is about Demi Moore and Woody Harrelson. They're a married couple and they are like getting into real estate. They want to start buying real estate, but they need $50,000 to like continue on, or else hell if I know. I think they lose the real estate or their house goes up for sale. I think their house goes up for sale. I think that's the thing of it. So they go to Vegas. They do really well one night, and then the next day, of course, their luck runs out because that's what happens not only in the movies but in Vegas.
Yeah.
And while they're there, Demi Moore keeps running into Robert Redford. Robert Redford plays this like huge like cajillionaire. Like he's this mysterious dude who's like, hey, you're like really good looking, let me buy you this $5,000 dress. Like he meets her and within 20 seconds, because she's like dress shopping, and within 20 seconds he's like, I want to get that for you. And she's like, this is $5,000. And he goes, yeah, do you fucking want it or not? But the next day he invites them over as he's playing, and he's doing really well, and he ends up winning a whole bunch of money, and he gives some of that to them and puts them up in a penthouse. And then the next day he comes, or later that day he comes by, and he straight up says to Woody Harrelson, I want to spend the night with your wife, and I'll give you $1 million to do it. And halfway by the time we are at the 1 hour mark, Demi Moore has come back from spending the night with Robert Redford. They take the money, and then the movie just stops. Like there's nothing interesting that happens in the second hour of the movie for it to like. I knew what the plot was because I had heard of it growing up. Mm-hmm. It was referenced on Impractical Jokers. There's an episode where Sal, as a punishment, has to go around to the studio, like dance studio, and open a briefcase and offer an indecent proposal. There's an episode of The Simpsons that copies this plot of this movie. I just didn't expect it to hit a wall so fast and to be so boring. I was like, well, that was, I guess, kind of a way to start Romance Month, but hopefully it's all uphill from there. I didn't care for it. I thought Robert Redford was incredibly dull. I couldn't understand why. I mean, I couldn't understand why these two were even conflicted by him, other than monetary reasons. He has no dimension to him. I buy Demi Moore and Woody Harrelson as like this working class couple. I really do, because they're both really good actors. They've been in this field for decades. I don't buy Robert Redford as this billionaire when he's just in a suit the entire movie, and he's like, hey, like he's walking around like a chiseled Buzz Lightyear. Like, So I mean, it was okay. I can't really recommend it. It's I didn't like it, but it's not the worst thing. Certainly far from the worst thing I watched this month. So that's Indecent Proposal.
I watched this because in 2019, when Big Lots was still around, they had it for $3. I went, you want to know what? Fine. I'll give this a shot. I don't remember a thing about it besides the plot and just what you said. It goes nowhere after the first hour. I
Really
went,
does.
why is this 2 hours?
And more so, I don't understand why so many people went and saw this. I mean, I guess people were bored in the early 90s. Like, this thing made nearly $300 million worldwide. And it's, I guess people were kind of suckered in. I don't know. I really don't know. Because the only feature on the DVD is the trailer for the film. And I watched it and I'm like, well, I could see being kind of suckered in by that. But it's not like a Kangaroo Jack situation where the kangaroo talks for that one scene and they think it's a family movie and you go and watch it and it's a fucking weird gangster crime movie. It's not like, I would say it's in the middle. It's kind of like Challengers, because a lot of people thought Challengers was going to be like a lot racier than it was.
Oh, yeah.
And it wasn't. It didn't detract from Challengers. Is still a really good movie.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I didn't care for that. I bought my copy for $3 too a few years back. So
for me, I watched it and I went, why do people love this so much? I mean, sure, the leads are great. Robert Redford's very dull, which for Redford's very weird for me to say because I love Robert Redford.
Yeah,
but
Redford's usually not that bad. So I don't understand what happened.
But your next movie was this one.
Yeah, I'll be quick with this one. It's on Hulu. I highly recommend it. It's Take Cover with Scott Adkins. I love Scott Adkins so much. He's an action movie star that absolutely gives 110%. And this is one of his best movies. It's really, really good. Highly recommend it.
Sleeping Dogs.
This one I was disappointed by because I love Russell Crowe. I love his work. And this one was just kind of boring. I had the mystery figured out a half hour in, and I still had an hour and 20 minutes left to go. So I'm like, okay, let's just see if I'm wrong, even though I'm not. And I was right. I was not wrong. So Sleeping Dogs, I can't recommend.
I remember that coming out, and I went, you know what? I'm going to pass.
I'm going to sleep on it.
Now, this is just a family movie here. I mean,
Yeah.
this
Fun
speaks
for the whole family.
fun
So
for the whole family.
Yeah, this is a French film called Humanist Vampire Seeking Consenting Suicidal Person, and it was really good up until like the last 10 minutes. I didn't care for the last 10 minutes, but the movie's about this vampire, this young vampire woman, and she doesn't like biting necks of people and killing them. In order to get the blood that she needs to live, like her parents just go out and like get a lot of IV bags filled with blood and they just stockpile them in the refrigerator for her. But then she kind of sees this guy who's kind of teetering between jumping off of the roof of his work building or like, staying alive. And she comes across this like realization, like, well, I could possibly be okay with it if the person decides that they no longer wish to live or anything. And it's really, really interesting. It's really good. But yeah, I know I sound very pretentious when I said this is a French film. No, when I heard about the movie coming out, I was like, okay, the title alone, I'm there. I would like to watch this. And I did. It was really good. I would recommend it if you're into vampire movies, if you're into like international movies. It's a very quick watch. It's only an hour and a half. So I like that one a lot.
Speaking of very quick watch, your next movie, I agree with you on. People say it's one of the greatest 80s films of all time. I watched it. I went, okay. It's from my favorite 80s director,
John Hughes.
16 Candles.
Yeah, I was like, the 80s was pretty famous for romantic comedies, and I watched it. I wasn't really that into it. And there's like a lot of racist shit in it. Like there's an Asian character called Long Duck Dong, and every fucking time he's on screen, you hear this gong sound effect, and I'm like, good God, that is really bad. And I guess I can see where he's coming from. Like he revealed in an interview or something that it was more so commenting on the couple that brought him in, because he's a foreign exchange student. Like they're like very ignorant and they don't know exactly what they're doing, so they speak to him like a complete moron.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't make sense if we're hearing the gong sounds too every time he is around. I digress. The movie itself is okay. It's a very rare PG rated movie where they say fuck, because PG-13 had not come out quite yet. It came out later that year. But it's Molly Wald. She turned 16, and she's just trying to get the attention of a boy that she likes at school. Like, it's a coming of age movie, and I felt like it just did nothing too great. I didn't mind it. It's good for a one-time watch. I will never watch it again. It's just like Pretty in Pink. I wasn't a huge fan of that either. These movies, when they hit for me, they really hit, like Ferris Bueller's Day Off and Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. When they don't, I just kind of go, okay. Some are for me, some aren't. I didn't mind, but I could have done a lot. And that and the weird date rape thing that comes up an hour in.
Oh, like
God. This girlfriend of this one guy is like completely hammered. And Anthony Michael Hall, who is this raging pervert throughout the entire movie,
God.
The guy's like, yeah, you can take her home. Like, she's at that stage where she's not going to really notice. And I'm like, oh, this is just awful. I can't believe I'm watching this.
And in the 80s, the PG rating was a bit more
loose.
Yeah, there's a nude scene in here that's very synonymous in a PG movie, and it's in the shower.
I mean, I was caught a little off guard, but then again, I've seen Howard the Duck several times.
Yeah.
So that's...
Well, I mean, that I think I was 14 or 15 when I first saw this movie, and I went, this is PG? And then, of course, here comes my mom walking down the hallway, and I'm like, move.
Oh my God, that reminds me, when Justice League was coming out, I rewatched like the DC universe up until that point, and I was rewatching Batman versus Superman, and I was still with my mom at the time, and she had come down right when it's the scene where Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor is shoving the cherry Jolly Rancher into the dude's mouth. And she came down like a minute before, and she's like, what are you watching? I said, Batman versus Superman. I said, because, my buddies and I are going to go see Justice League tonight. And then she watched that one scene, and she goes, are you watching the fucking pervert version? Like, what is wrong with you?
Well, my mom, when I was 12 or 13, I really wanted to see 2 R-rated movies. One was Hot Tub Time Machine. But then the most innocent R-rated movie ever is The King's Speech, and it's that one scene. There's no
I haven't
swearing
seen
in
The King's
movie.
Speech. I know the scene you're talking about, but he's like swearing and all that.
Yeah.
But I The King's Speech, like, that's just one of those movies that's gotten away from me.
It's really good. It's just one you gotta be in the mood for. It's very quiet. Don't do what I did. I popped it on when I was tired, and I was like, well, I'm not gonna rewatch this tonight. But she got so angry at me, all because of fuck us. And I'm like, Mom, he is trying to get rid of his stutter. I had a stutter as a child. This movie speaks to me. And she says that this is filth, and I went, okay. Whatever. Oh, and Hot Tub Time Machine. Lou in that movie, you know how much he swears. Right in the very, very beginning. Oh, I got in so much trouble for that. So much trouble.
There's 200 plus F-bombs in that movie. I don't doubt it. Like it's
She got so mad at me. So mad at me. Your next film is The Sweetest Thing.
Yeah, short and sweet with this. I liked it. I liked it a lot. It's nice seeing Cameron Diaz kind of in a role that's not pigeonholing her as like some goody two shoes girl. But it's really good. It's really eerie that 2 out of the 3 main girls in this movie like don't work anymore because they've come down with an illness.
Yeah.
Christina Applegate and Selma Blair. But it's a fun little movie. Nothing I would ever like go to repeatedly, but maybe 5 years down the line, if I'm like, I don't really remember what happens in that, but I remember liking it, I'll pop it on.
I remember I have it. I've watched it once. I might rewatch that very, very soon. And my God, I think it's only 84 minutes, so it's a breeze.
I watched the unrated version, so that was 90 minutes.
Oh, okay. Okay. See, I want to see the unrated version, but I might have to rent that one.
The unrated, I mean, the only thing that's different is they sing about dicks in the middle of a restaurant.
Okay. Well, I've seen that done live before, so I mean, Mannequin.
Yeah, I watched this and the sequel in the same night because I had the double feature set. Mannequin and Mannequin 2 on the Move. Mannequin is extremely fun. It's a movie that knows how goofy it is, and it rolls with it. It's about this dude who wants to be an artist. He gets fired from this mannequin factory that he's in because he spends too much time trying to make like the perfect looking mannequin. And a year down the line, he ends up like working in this department store that has this mannequin, but it is inhabited with the spirit of this like Egyptian princess who cannot get free unless she finds true love. And she only comes to life in front of our main character. And it's a completely ridiculous, goofy slapstick movie. But I went into it with the full knowledge that that's what it was. Like I had heard for years, this movie sucks. It's so stupid. It's terrible. And now it's kind of looked at more fonder than that.
Yeah.
But I liked it. I really liked it a lot. And I liked the sequel a lot too. The sequel surprised me because I heard really terrible things about that. And I thought that was fun. It's same plot, following different characters, but same things happening. I think the only difference in this one, the mannequin can't move if there's like a certain necklace placed on her, because that necklace has like a curse placed on it. And with the romance genre, you have to kind of suspend your disbelief. And if you're not willing to do that, then movies aren't necessarily going to work for you. Books aren't going to work for you. There's a lot of book talk stuff that I've read that I've had to suspend my disbelief for a little bit. And most of the time it works. Some of the time I'm like, all right, come on. But no, like Mannequin and Mannequin 2 are very, very, like, I would wholeheartedly recommend them.
This next one, you piqued my interest because I've never seen it. I don't own it, and I've never come across a copy of it. Untamed Heart.
Yes. So it was a movie that was recommended to me by one of my film friends. He goes, it's one of my all-time favorites. And I said, well, I'll check it out because I have it. I bought it at Savers like a couple years ago or a year ago. And I love Christian Slater, and it's Untamed Heart. And I don't want to get too much into this because a lot of what's revealed in the movie doesn't happen until the halfway point,
Mm-hmm.
and I want to keep it like kind of a surprise for people. I think this is on Tubi, so if you want to give it a watch, definitely give it a Tubi watch. Um, but basically, Marissa Tomei is this waitress. She deals with these like real asshole customers at one point, and these guys try to follow her home, but this line cook played by Christian Slater that also works with her finds them and kicks the shit out of them. The only thing that's a little eyebrow raising, and he's like, yeah, I was following you home to make sure that you got home safe. I was like, okay, so you were doing the same thing, but that's okay. But regardless, I thought they played it off very well, and these two just form a relationship. Of course, a big complication comes into the mix, but that is the thing that I don't want to get into because it's like in the middle of the movie. But it's really really good. It is a bit of a downer, so I don't go into it thinking, yes, I love my comfort romance movies. No, like you're gonna be a little surprised.
I'll probably watch it on Tubi very, very soon. I've been putting this off for so long, and yes, it is on Tubi. Yes,
Sweet.
there it is. Okay. Now this one I'm watching this week. Heart Eyes.
I loved this one. First of all, a little bit of a spoiler for the month of March. This is the longest time in a calendar year that I have not given a film 4 stars. It's been very weird. I really wish The Day the Earth Blew Up, because I saw that yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
I really wish that was a 2025 movie, but it isn't. It's a 2024 one. Yep. Hard Eyes, though, is so damn good. I loved this one. It's really funny. It's a lot funnier than I expected it to be. It's a romantic slasher comedy. So it's about this like killer, this Hard Eyes killer. It's this masked man that is kind of going after couples, and it's really really good. The performers in this are really good at throwing themselves into this like level of absurdity, but keeping such a straight. It's almost like that Airplane level, and I think they do a really good job. Olivia Holt and Mason Gooding are really good as the main. Some people said, "Well, I had problems with them. I really get it." I didn't have that problem because they do bicker a lot throughout like the first half of the movie. So they're like, yeah. But I thought they were really good. And then the highlight for me was Devon Sawa and Jordana Brewster as the 2 police detectives in this movie. I could have just watched a buddy cop movie with the 2 of them. And don't get me wrong, I love the Fast and the Furious movies. They're my favorite franchise of all time. I love them to death. I love Jordana Brewster in them, but she is very limited into what she can do in those movies. So I'm very happy that she expanded her scope with this one. But it's really good. So I'm excited for you to watch it. I really loved it.
I'm probably gonna watch this on Monday because there's a few movies that I'll show you off stream.
Yeah,
that I have because I am chomping at the bit to watch a good movie because I've been in a so it's fine. And yes, all of them went, but the next one, I had high hopes for this one, man. I had high hopes. Love Hurts.
I did too. So I ended up not hating the movie, as you guys can see, but it is surprisingly sloppy for a movie that came out from a major studio. This movie is in a hurry, and it's only 83 minutes. I'm sitting there and I'm like, what is the rush? What is the problem? It is from a major studio, from Universal Studios, this thing is horrendously edited. Shots are cut off. ADR, overdub dialogue, is extremely evident and poorly done. The performance by Ariana DeBose, I don't know what the hell is going on with her and this and Craven the Hunter. She's got to fire her agent. And a lot of people will come after me for like, well, she was in Argyle too. Fuck off. I liked Argyle. I liked Argyle a lot. I don't know. She comes across as this weird stalker in this movie, and it's supposed to be endearing. And I'm like, she's not playing it that way. But what redeems this movie is the action is good. There are a couple of funny moments, but Ke Huy Quan as Marvin, this realtor who used to be like the secret assassin back in the day, is wonderful. He is so good and so charming and so down to earth in this role that I want like 100 more action movies with him in it. I really do. Whether he is the main lead or he is the supporting character. I watched The Electric State last night, which is also getting shit on. And I actually really like that. He's in that for a little bit. And I love because he gives 110%. He came out of retirement to do Everything Everywhere All at Once. He was awesome in that. He won the Oscar for that 3 years ago. And
Very
now
deserving.
he's been on this kick of coming back. And I want to see him in. I didn't hate Love Hurts. I really didn't. But I want to see him in better material than this. Because this is edited as if somebody did not care.
This next one. Okay. We're just going to get into a quick discussion about this because I watched this too. And Molly, I pray to God you didn't watch this. I'm praying. Woo!
Spoiler alert, I know what you're talking about, and she watched it 15 minutes after we shut off our last episode because she had to see how bad it was.
Okay. So this is me after I eat a lot. I feel kind of pregnant. Yeah. This is This
is the worst movie of the year so far. So I know. So Letterboxd you grade on a scale of 0.5 star to 5 stars. I grade on a scale of 0 to 4 stars, so I have to kind of convert that. So whenever you see a 1-star rating, that means I gave it a 0.5 star in real life. It's very weird how that works. I know, but I've got it down to a science. I came home from work and I said, let me throw this on because Molly and I were heading to go out to eat at Dairy Queen that night. And I said, well, let me throw this on and I'll watch it until we're ready to go. And it was halfway through and I said, I'm debating on whether or not when I come back home, if I did not finish it because it was that bad. But then I said to myself, I've said that before and I've come back and the second half ends up being not so bad. No, the second half was just as bad. This is a comedy, if you can call it that, because I didn't laugh, about Amy Schumer. And a lot of people really don't like Amy Schumer. I don't care for her stand-up comedy. No. I like her better when she is an actor. I had a lot of fun in Trainwreck, in Snatched, and in I Feel Pretty. This is the first time where I'm like, I can understand where some of the venom comes from. She's to blame because she co-wrote this and she wrote the most unlikable human being ever in a movie. She plays this school teacher who gets broken up with because the guy wants to propose a threesome and she doesn't want that. So she goes into her job the next day as a school teacher, by the way, cusses out her entire class, starts a fucking fire in the middle of the classroom.
Yep.
And that is never addressed for the rest of the movie. Like none of the teachers come up and are like, what smells? Or like, did you hear about that like crazy teacher that did this? No, never mentioned. Nope. She ends up like her friend who's played by Jillian Bell. Again, Jillian Bell is a great actress, but she
Phenomenal.
is stuck with like a nothing part in here as well. She gets pregnant, and they go to like a maternity store, and Amy Schumer is trying on a maternity dress, and an associate walks in and says, you know, you look, she compliments her, like, you look really glowing and stuff like that. That dress really fits you. And Amy Schumer's character is so shallow that because she enjoyed that much attention from that one woman, she does what any reasonable human would do and throws all fucking logic and knowledge out of the window and decides to get this fake pregnancy belly, walk around and pretend like she's pregnant.
Yep.
This doesn't work for several reasons. First of all, when she is wearing this thing, she manages to fall flat on her front several times, and that causes the stomach to compress and flatten into itself. Now, I'm not one of these weirdos that sits on the internet and watches pregnant ladies falling, but I'm pretty sure that doesn't happen, and I'm pretty sure somebody would have been like, what is going on? But whatever. She ends up meeting Will Forte, and the only thing I remember about Will Forte to come out of this movie is he did an interview where he discussed how pissed off that he was that Coyote versus Acme is not coming out. But that's another discussion for another day. I love Will Forte so much. I really do. He is not given anything funny to do. He is just this guy that is supposed to fall for Amy Schumer and no questions asked. And it's just, this movie is so unlikable. It is downright offensive because it doesn't tackle any of the issues it wants to even remotely discuss head on. It doesn't discuss women with fertility issues. It doesn't discuss how that would look faking a pregnancy around that, or people who have had miscarriages or stillborns or stuff like that. It doesn't tackle that kind of thing. And if it took 5 minutes and actually sat down and had a conversation instead of just people being like, I'm mad at you because you put on a fake stomach, then maybe I could have given the movie a little bit of edge. But it doesn't. It's this. I hated this. I really did. There is this school teacher who is a guidance counselor. How she's a guidance counselor employed at this school is beyond me, because every time a student walks through her door, she's like, you're a fucking piece of shit. And I'm like, okay, wow, okay. There's a great, I know I bring him up a lot. Mark Dusick, MarkReviewsMovies.com. He gave the movie 1 star, so he was a little bit kinder than I was. But he brought up something really good in his review for the movie. So this is a guidance counselor who goes around, she just vapes and cusses. Yeah. It says right here, Lainey is over the top as a scorned lover, leading her to burn books in the classroom where she teaches, and an apparent magnet for pratfalls and other low bits of physical comedy, such as hitting a piñata so hard that she knocks coworker Fallon, who earlier points out that she doesn't know how to swim, out of the blue into a pool. Yeah. It's maddening. And I reviewed the movie, and then one of my actor friends like commented, she goes, hey, I'm in this. I'm in the background of actually the very scene that I mentioned, of where she's hitting the piñata. And I went back and I went, oh, you are. I said, I missed you because I was just so focused on, I was so dumbstruck on how stupid the movie is. I laughed twice. I'll give it that. I laughed twice. There is Will Forte is driving as Annie, and it just cuts to him doing a goofy pose and slow motion by Juvenile and Soulja Slim is playing. I don't know. I needed something to laugh at, and that caught me off guard. And then the second time I laughed was they're taking a field trip through a butterfly garden, and the old woman has such a problem with the guidance counselor. She goes, "You keep it up, and I will fucking kill you." That's it. Kind of Pregnant is really ridiculously awful. And I hated it so much. It was it was awful. If this misses my worst of 2025 list, I will be very shocked.
I will do my quick review for this one as well. So I watched this in the early morning, the day it came out, because I had the morning off.
Mm-hmm.
No, the whole day off, and I'm like, okay, sure, fine. I love Happy Madison. It's very easy to make me laugh with a Happy Madison movie. Okay, cool, fine. So I'm sitting there, I'm watching, and I saw the trailer. I knew what it was about. The moment where I knew I hated this movie is the moment where her new friend's son is running around with, I believe it's a knife, and stabbing her in the belly.
That's another thing. Thank you for bringing that up. Yeah, stabs her in the belly, and she gets set on fire.
Yeah! And no one's concerned about the baby. No one's concerned about the baby, really. Nobody cares.
There's a noticeable hole, and you can see through the shirt that it's a compression stomach material. I think that's the scene where I gave up, and that's a half hour in, and I just went, if you're not going to at least approach this with some sort of street smarts, then I can't give anything to you. I'm sorry.
I got a couple laughs out of this, and that's why I went with a 1.5 stars. One, because Will Forte, I found him to be a little more endearing. He was very likable in this film, where in the last film I saw him in Strays, he was supposed to be very unlikable, and he was. He was very unlikable.
Molly likes Strays too. She watched that. He's Doug the human with like the tall boys and shit who's just constantly abusing these dogs. But yeah, I love Will Forte too. I really do. I wish he would pick something that wasn't this.
Yeah, and I am a child on the inside. There are moments where you're watching a movie and it's so bad you have to find something to laugh at. I don't care how many times I watch, say, Dumb and Dumber. The laxative scene makes me laugh my guts out.
I love good farts, man. I really do.
The Master of Disguise. Every single time he farts in the car, I laugh my guts off. But man, in the yoga, in the mother class, where they're all pregnant, I guarantee you that is the most realistic thing in this movie. Just let it all out. Just let it all out. And I'm like, okay, I know it's coming. 3, 2, 1. And I went, okay, movie. And then my mom was right beside me, and she goes, "Oh my God." And I went, yeah.
I want to ask. I kind of want to text my mom and ask her if that happened to her. Screw it, I am.
My mom would not admit it.
Just say, hey, just curious. When you were pregnant with me, did you have bad gas? Okay. Sent.
As you can see, I went with a 1.5 stars, but I'll get into that in just a minute. And then your final movie for that week was My Super Ex-Girlfriend. I
needed something to, wash the bad taste of Kind of Pregnant. And it's one of those movies that I keep forgetting I have. But this was, I liked this. Like, I suspended my disbelief enough. I think the trailer kind of gives away. I mean, it has no choice but to give away a lot of the second half of the movie because a lot of what happens in the movie is in the second half.
Mm-hmm.
But Uma Thurman plays this superhero named G Girl. What the G stands for, I don't know. They never reveal it. She has every superpower. Like literally, she can. She's got super strength. She's got super speed. She flies. She can throw a fucking shark through a window. You name it, she does it. Luke Wilson ends up like kind of going out with her and everything, and he breaks it off with her, and obviously that's not something you want to do. So she decides, hey, I'm gonna make your life a living hell. So,
she does.
Not the best movie in the world, but also certainly not the worst. Certainly not the worst. I enjoyed this one a lot more than I thought I would.
And that is the end of this week, but I want to bring this up. Molly put something in the comments.
Sorry, Mom texted back. She said, what the fuck? Just asked.
I can't wait for her to go, how did this come up in a conversation and how did this pop up in your mind, son?
Give it a few minutes. I'm sure she'll ask.
Yeah. Oh God.
Yeah, pregnant woman. Yeah, I told you she didn't like it. Yeah, I mean, you could probably find compilations on YouTube if you're weird, but I watch body cam videos and people freaking out in Walmart. Like I'm a normal person.
And I am normal as well. I'm a cat person, a dog person, and my dad is not. My dad will sit right here in this very chair, and I'm watching a basketball game or a movie, and he's watching people having full-on diarrhea. And I'm like, and out of dude, I freaking swear to you, I'm sitting here and I'm watching the most serious scene in the world, and then all of a sudden, and here he is losing his fucking mind over here, and I'm like, are you okay, Dad? And he goes, yeah, I'm fine. And I'm like, okay.
I can't blame him because I do the same shit.
It's always at the worst times too, and I'm like, it's the most serious damn scene in the entire movie, and you choose now to play that.
Parents have impeccable timing.
I'm sorry, but my God, come on, sir. Okay.
Oh no. She goes, sweetheart, when women are pregnant, they have gas. They all have issues. Did you see that shit? No. Did you see that shit movie? Kind of pregnant. It sucked dick. But that happened. And I wanted to know. Very unserious with my mother a lot. So
I'm the same exact way. my first movie was something that has nothing to do with women's farts or pregnant ladies at all, except for the very beginning. Is Matilda.
Great. Matilda's great.
It's a childhood classic. I absolutely love the movie. It's a comfort watch, and there's moments in life where you just need something so charming and so fun that does it. That movie is literally a warm hug. It's a warm hug. And Danny DeVito, there's so many things that have been said with this movie. If somehow you haven't seen it, young Mara Wilson plays a young girl named Matilda. And she has these magical powers. And in the beginning, it's only when her parents are mean to her that she uses her powers. Well, things happen, and she gets to go to school at 6 years old, which by the way, small side note, she is the oldest 6-year-old I have ever seen in a movie.
She might have
was
been 6 at the time. I'm gonna look that up, but go on, yeah.
and she looked really old, and I love this movie. It is charming. I've probably seen this movie 20, 30 times. I had the tape, and it was on ABC Family literally every Saturday afternoon about 3 o'clock, literally every week.
So she was about 10, 9 or 10
Okay.
when that. So you're not wrong.
Yeah. But that happens anyways in every movie. But as a kid, I'm not thinking about that. As an adult, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense.
My favorite, I think one of my favorite behind the scenes stories, it has to do with Danny DeVito and this movie. So Mara Wilson's mom, while she was filming this movie, was dying of cancer.
Mm-hmm.
And DeVito, like the treasure he is, was not only very protective of this literal child that was on his set, but he edited the movie into like a rough cut of like pretty close to what it is now, and screened it privately for her mother before she passed away. And I thought that was insanely touching, because not a lot of people go out of their way to do stuff like that, and he did, and he has earned nothing but massive respect from me for life. I've always loved Danny DeVito, I really do. But when I heard that, I'm like, that's incredible.
That was one story I was about to say. That is the big story that everybody loves. I mean, it's well known, but it's such a heartwarming, endearing story that very few directors would actually do that. And it's just a fact that this movie has held well in many hearts, but in my heart, because of that moment, but also because when you feel like you are the only child, you have your certain things. And for her, it was books. She had books. That's all she had as a kid. She would literally walk 10 blocks to the library every day. And I'm like, okay, that's very, very sweet. And I know that for myself, I can't read that well. I could never read that well. So when this movie was on, I got in the mood to read a book afterwards. So this movie helped with my love of reading now. So this movie had an impact on me because of that. But this movie is awesome. Great. It's great. I love it. It's one of my all-time favorite movies. And this next movie, I watch it every year. It's a tradition. Groundhog Day.
I've seen it once and I loved it.
I don't care. Every year, February 2nd, I gotta watch it. I have to watch it. My day is not complete without it.
That's like me. Every April 8th is Empire Records Day. So my day's not complete until I watch that every April 8th.
I'll have to add that because I've never seen that movie. I've never seen it.
Oh, you must. You must. It's one of my favorites.
Well, I am going to reveal something at the very end of this this stream for April. This movie is charming. It's funny. It is very oddly romantic as well, because this is a comedy, but the very last third of it is a romance with Bill and Andy. Very sweet movie here. It's not Groundhog Day without this movie. It's not. Next up is a movie that I haven't seen in a few years, but I really love, Wedding Days.
I have that. I just haven't checked it out.
It is very stupid. It's very stupid, but
very endearing.
It's very endearing. It's about this this guy who is about to get engaged. It doesn't quite happen, and he goes into a restaurant and asks his waitress, played by the lovely and multi-talented, it's Isla Fisher, or is it Isla?
No,
Isla,
No, it's Isla. You got it.
by Isla Fisher, and asks her, "Will you marry me?" And it's just them having to live together, and eventually they fall in love. But there's also this subplot with their parents, particularly her parents, that is very entertaining. It is R-rated, it's raunchy, it's fun, it's 90 minutes, and it's easily going to be rewatched a couple more times this year when I need something short, because I forgot how much I loved this. This is definitely one I'm keeping in my collection, and one of the few times I actually bought a good movie from the Dollar Tree in the early days.
I got mine from Dollar Tree too.
Back then, man, they did not. They did not have very good movies. But next up is, let me get back to it. There we go. Is You Mean Dupree? Okay. This is one that I had a slight issue with, because this movie should have been better than it was. There's a moment here.
I've seen it once. Not, I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry. I've seen it once. I can't remember a damn thing about it.
See, I only watched it last month, and I barely remember anything. So
okay, so good. I'm not alone.
Here's what I do remember. Dupree is one of the most unlikable characters throughout the first half of the film, because all he's doing is being a pain in the ass. Yes, he's down on his luck. He's having a hard time. We all have those times. The issue is you need to dust yourself off and get a job and do something about it, instead of just mooching off of everybody else. Yes, people lose jobs. Yes, people become homeless. But they do something about it. This guy doesn't. It's all poor me, poor me, poor me, poor me, poor me.
That's right.
In the second half of the movie, it turns into Matt Dillon, who I am in the vast minority. I don't like that guy.
Really?
I don't like him. He has the most, I am so constipated for a month straight face that I don't care. I don't like that guy.
I really like Matt Dillon. So that's very unique to hear something quite contrasting. I like that.
I really don't like him. The only movie I thought he was great in was The House that Jack built. He was very good in that, but that's a weird movie. God.
I haven't seen that because I've been told it's a little weird. So, sometimes if people are like, it might be even too weird for you, Kyle. I'm like, oh, okay, well then I'll fucking stay away.
I got it from the library and I went, it's 2.5 hours. It's Matt Dillon. And I saw the director. I went, oh, no wonder it's weird.
You should see Armored. It's a very underrated, very short heist movie from 2009. He's awesome in that.
Okay, I'll add that to my watch list. You Mean Dupree. The last half of the movie, Matt Dillon's father-in-law, played by Michael Douglas, absolutely hates him and wants to take away his job, but Matt Dillon works at Michael Douglas's business.
Mm-hmm.
And he's married to Kate Hudson. Kate Hudson. Kate Hudson. They both look completely alike. Completely alike to me.
Not to me, to be fair, not to me. I think Kate Hudson is more, she has a more distinguished look than Kate Upton. Kate Upton has that influencer look where if she fell into a crowd of influencers, I wouldn't be able to pick her out. So
yeah. But Matt Dillon now believes that his best friend Dupree is trying to get with his wife. There are many moments where it's unbelievable because they don't even try. They don't even try to explain what's going on. They don't explain anything. It's just, you are falling in love with my wife. You're trying to steal my wife. And Seth Rogen is in here, and he plays one of Matt Dillon's friends.
That's right.
and his only job throughout the entire movie is to be there. He's married. He's a friend, and he's in it for 15 minutes. All he does is go to Matt Dillon's house and steal his porn collection from his garbage can and take it home. That's really all he does in the movie. And then gets him in trouble because Owen Wilson, who is Dupree, finds out and goes, "Hey, why'd you throw your porn away?"
Wow, why'd you do that?
Wow. This movie, I will say this. I was digging this for the first half. And it's very nice to see how he brings them back together. And there's a lot of good callbacks, a very smart script, because there's a bar that is used very, very well, especially in the climax of the movie. However, I wanted to like this more than 3.5 stars. I really did. I was expecting this to be like a 4.5, 5-star movie for me because I love Owen Wilson.
I love Owen Wilson too, yeah.
Oh my God. He is unlikable in the first half. Holy shit. He is annoying as all get out, and if you rewatch it, I don't think a single character was likable besides Kate Hudson throughout the entire movie, because all she's trying to do is be married and be happy.
That's it.
That's literally it. And Owen Wilson becomes a likable character in the second half because they turn everything around on it. And Matt Dillon becomes the one who's completely unlikable. I didn't like this movie as much as everybody else does, but the critics liked it a little bit less than I did, so I'm not too far out there.
Speaking of Seth Rogen, he gave an interview. This is completely off topic. He gave an interview at South by Southwest where he was like, Jonah Hill can't touch a PlayStation because Sony, when they were making Superbad, Sony found his character so bad. But every time I think of Seth Rogen, I think of his laugh. And his laugh in this particular clip was so prominent that I took it and I started like fucking with it. I don't know if this is going to show up very well, but we'll see.
Let me pull this up and I will be able to show you.
There we go. Okay. Oh, shoot. Maybe turn the audio on, Kyle, you ding dong.
Jonah can't touch a PlayStation. Jonah can't touch.
This is the shit that I do to entertain myself.
I'm fucking crying, dude. It was that fast-paced. That fast-paced chirpy one. That made me laugh so hard.
I'll send it to you.
Holy shit. Oh my God, that's funny. Woo. Okay. On to one of my favorite rom-coms of all time. Friends with Benefits.
That was fine. I liked it came out the same year as another movie like that. What was it called? No Strings Attached.
No Strings Attached, which was very, very funny because I've been seeing a lot of Ashton Kutcher stuff on YouTube. Very oddly, just him, and they showed a clip from that movie, and then in the comments, wait, they might be the only couple married who said that they got to make out with Natalie Portman within the same year.
Yeah, that's true. Your Highness, I forgot about that movie.
Well, Mila Kunis
Yeah.
did in Swan, Black Swan as well.
Oh, Black Swan. That's right.
Yep. But I love this movie. There's so many times I bust out laughing, but it's also so sweet at the same time. My biggest thing about this movie is that I don't like is the unneeded extra boyfriend that is thrown to the wayside within 15 minutes. And literally 15 minutes is all he's on screen for. And I went, okay, so you meet him in the park, you go on a 5-date rule, and you sleep with him. He gets ready and leaves, and that's basically it. So there's also a very smart thing here, because they have the character of Richard Jenkins, who is Justin Zed, who has early Alzheimer's. I'm dealing with that with my my dad's stepmother. So we're going through that right now. But yeah. Very heartwarming movie. I love this movie to death. It is great. I watch this multiple times a year unapologetically. I laugh my butt off. Woody Harrelson plays a great gay man.
I love Woody Harrelson. I love him to death.
Oh, he's great. I love that guy. This next one is a movie that I wanted to like more on a rewatch. I don't know what was in my tea the night I first watched this in 2020 or 2021. This is a movie that very few people have seen, and it's called Down to You with Julia Stiles and Freddie Prinze Jr.
I've seen that once, but again, like with a couple of these that you've talked about, it was so long ago that I don't remember anything about it.
So when I first saw the movie, I believe it was 2020, and everything was shut down, and all I had was stuff at home and streaming. So yeah. I went, well, this is on Prime, so let me watch this on Prime. It's only 89 minutes, and it's all about this this couple. And for the majority of the movie, I was like, there's a charm about it. But then I rewatched it. Nothing happens in this movie. Almost nothing happens in this entire movie.
Yeah, I kind of remember. Yeah.
There's a lot of kissing in the first half of the movie when they first get together. And I kid you not, the first half of the movie, about 15 minutes of it is just them making out. So I guess they had a lot of fun on set, I'm guessing. But yeah. But this time, however, I was watching it and it went down a full 1.5 stars for me.
Oh wow.
Because the first time I watched it, it was late at night, and I guess I was just in the mood for it. This time I watched it, barely anything happens, but the characters are so likable. And sure, the acting's awful, but the actors know what movie they're in because the screenplay writer didn't know what they were doing. This is the worst the worst rom-com I've ever seen in script form. I mean, the dialogue is so bad. It comes out of nowhere. And the climax, the fight in the movie, is out of nowhere. And the reconciliation feels so forced, it's laughable. But I enjoy it still as it knows what it is type of a movie. And I can see myself rewatching it, but I think that this is a perfect watch before bed film.
Yeah, I can see that.
Because let's just be completely honest with you. A lot of people watch shows before they go to bed. Me, I like to watch a movie or a video or the news or something. Well, that is one that I can see a lot of people really enjoying right before bed because it's harmless, it's charming, and it's 90 minutes. Very short.
Yeah.
I'm not going to spend any time on this one because we delved into that one. Kind of pregnant. And it kind of sucks. It kind of sucks. This one was a screener. Wish You Were Here.
That's on my list to see for this year. So that rating is actually kind of encouraging.
It's fine. It's fine. I want a lot more of it. The issue is what it perceives itself to be within the first half hour.
Mm-hmm.
There's a complete tonal shift into a heartbreaking drama.
I've heard that. Okay. Yeah.
I'm not going to say why.
Okay.
Because in the plot synopsis, it doesn't tell you why. It's just that the one night stand doesn't go the way that she thinks it will. Now, both of these leads are phenomenal. Both of these leads are great. However, the script needed a lot of work, and it didn't quite know what it wanted to be, and it lost its footing within the last 45 minutes, and it just got repetitive and boring.
Okay.
And I wanted this to pack a harder punch than it actually did. Then, to wash the taste out of my mouth, I wanted to rewatch one of my all-time favorite films, so I just popped on Aladdin.
Aladdin's great.
I have a connection to it. I performed the Broadway moves in show choir my senior year. I went to go and see it in my New York trip with the choir on Broadway. Love Aladdin. It's my favorite Disney film of all time, hands down. Automatic classic. Next up was Turn Me On. This is one that didn't play at almost any theaters, okay? So, this sounds kind of original, but it's very weird. So, it's all about this utopia world where everybody takes these pills every single day, where you have no emotions. And but Belle Powley, who is an underrated actress, I love her in multiple indie films. She needs to be a bigger star because she delivers Oscar caliber work in multiple films.
She was headed that way when White Boy Rick came out, and then I don't know, she kind of fell by the wayside.
I think she should have got that for a movie called Detour with Ty Sheridan.
Ty Sheridan, that's a good one.
And the Diary of a Teenage Girl, that was very good with her in it. This one is all about her, and she decides, what if I stopped taking my pill? What would happen? And it's just something she sees. She stops taking the pill, and she finally has emotions. She can feel love. She laughs. She cries. She knows what emotion is now. And everybody's like, what's wrong with you? So it's this big experiment of her and her friends, and they find out what's actually going on in this world and why you need to take this pill so that the government can control you and control what you do.
That sounds really interesting.
But there's also a romance side to it, because these two here, our two leads, Belle Powley and I believe that's Nick Robinson, they're great in this movie. They are great in this movie. This is one of my favorite films of the entire year. It is wholly original. It is fun. It's charming as all get out. If you like a quiet film, there's very little loud in this film, and this score plays a role in the actual movie itself. It's haunting, it's eerie, and I say watch it. It's probably going to come to Hulu very soon because it is a vertical film.
Oh, sweet.
So it should come out soon, and I highly and I know a lot of people don't enjoy it. I got a lot of people who really like it as well, but I say check it out. It's the most original film I've seen all year.
I am putting that on my list.
Next up is one that I wanted to like more, and that's Wolfman. I wanted to like this one.
I mean, you gave it the same rating I did.
As you can read here, The cinematography is good, and the sound and effects are very well done. But the
Mhm.
movie is just fine. The acting is fine, but the script is a lot of exposition. They don't do a whole lot with their dialogue besides exposition, exposition, exposition. And what they should have done here is written a better script, horror wise, because there's nothing scary about this film. And when this movie was being marketed, it was marketed as a terrifying werewolf film. There's a few jump scares that can work, but there's nothing all that scary about it. It's another Blumhouse dud, but it's not like a Blumhouse film that has fun with itself. It's wholly
Yeah.
serious. And if it would have had fun with itself, I would have liked it a little bit more. In my friend group, I am in the minority, but that's okay. It's
Yeah.
fine. It's fine. And that's it for my week. And we will move into Kyle's week. So, we already did my super ex-girlfriend, which is something that I will not call my next my ex-girlfriend.
So
Bridget
I'm going to talk about all four of these just kind of quickly. Bridget Jones's Diary, Bridget Jones, The Edge of Reason, Bridget Jones's Baby, and the new one, Mad About the Boy. I rewatched the first three in prep for the new one. The new one didn't come to theaters here.
Mhm.
It came to theaters worldwide. I came to Peacock here. First movie, I remember I didn't like the second and third movie, and now that's not true. The second movie, I thought, like, the first half was a bit of a screwball comedy, but it really kind of got really charming, and I was like, it's amazing what a decade can do. Like, it went from a 2-star movie to a 3-star movie for me. Like, I really enjoyed The Edge of Reason. And I think Bridget Jones's Baby is still the weakest of the four, because I don't know, there's nothing wrong with it. It definitely handles motherhood and pregnancy a lot fucking better than Kind of Pregnant. So, but Bridget Jones's Diary, I think, is one of the best romantic comedy films I've ever seen. It is so sweet. It's so charming. It's so funny. Yes, there's a lot of tropes in it, and who gives a shit? As long as the movie is told very well and it doesn't treat its audience like shit. The original Bridget Jones's Diary is awesome. Edge of Reason and Baby are pretty good. Mad About the Boy, which came out this year, is also really good. As a matter of fact, it's the best of the sequels. It is bittersweet to say goodbye to this character, but it feels natural because there's really like natural passion for this to advance to. I had a really nice time revisiting these movies. I really did, especially the first one. And I'm even though I'm disappointed that they didn't put the fourth one, I can't blame them for not wanting to, because the third movie didn't do too well over here. So I can kind of understand them going, this is like for Peacock, but I hope it gets like at least a DVD release later on in the year.
Please.
So that way I can have it. Like, it's really, really good. But that's the Bridget Jones series.
I'll talk about those in my week, because I did the same exact thing that you did. But I had only seen the first one, so I never saw any of the sequels. So I just went boom, 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 and I'll get into those in just a few minutes.
Excuse me.
Your next one was Made in England, the films of Powell and Pressburger.
Very quick on this. The next two I'll go very quick. Actually, this week I'm going to go very quick on, because I really don't have a whole lot to say. Okay. This is a really good documentary. If you're into film history, it's a must watch. Narrated entirely by Martin Scorsese. So, I mean, I could listen to him narrate The Phone Book, but phone books aren't around anymore. So, it's really good. I highly recommend it.
Ugh.
My review puts it best. 5 films, and not a single one of them are worth more than a homeless woman's diarrhea. Yes, that's disgusting, but so are these movies. Stop fucking making them. We don't need 5 of them. I thought it was ridiculous when they announced 2 nearly a decade ago. And, they're so bad. But they're like varying levels of bad. Like the first one and this one is atrocious. It's God's Not Dead, In God We Trust. The second one and the third one are really bad. The fourth one is like the best one, but just because it's so boring. It didn't do anything to offend me. Every movie ends with everything being okay because Jesus and the Newsboys are here, and there's only one fucking reason they're here. It's to sing this trash-ass song, God's Not Dead.
Love explode and bring the dead to life. Yep. I
hated it.
I will say this. I am a Christian. I was forced to go to theaters to see this with my mom and dad.
Did you see the new one?
Oh no. The first one. Only the first one.
Oh God.
I went to theaters, and it was the Sunday it came out, because I remember this very distinctly. I had no choice in whether I got to see it or not, because it's a family movie. Okay, fine. So we go to the theater. I'm expecting a few people. Oh, well, fuck me. Nope. Whole damn parking lot's full.
I remember the opening weekend it came out when this popped up, and it opened with $9 million. And I was looking at the box office numbers. I said, what the hell is this?
Yeah. I went in there. We had to sit in the very far left side of the theater, right by the speakers. And I had to watch the movie just like this. So, during the whole movie, hallelujah, praise the Lord. And then, I kid you not, the theater almost started singing God's Not Dead.
Oh,
Now, don't get me wrong. I like the Newsboys. I do. But when that movie came out, that song got overplayed to heck. It got overplayed. Now, so much so that my parents then went to a Christian bookstore to buy the soundtrack and buy the Newsboys albums that had it on there. We would get in there, and I'm not kidding you. I've probably heard that song 30, 40 times. It's a decent song, but I don't need to hear it again.
Oh, God.
Because I can hear it in my head right now.
So the soundtrack, I'm looking on Apple Music. It has such classic artists like Shane Harper, who is the main character of the movie, the Newsboys, Stellar Cart, J.J. Weeks Band, Super Chick, and who could forget Trisha. So I feel so sorry, because I've heard of the Newsboys through that one song. And every time it comes up in these movies, I'm like, fuck, I hate you guys.
Well, I'll say this. My mom wanted to see 2. My theater did not get 2. We did not get 3, 4, or 5, because 3, 4, and 5 went to Fathom Events.
3, 4, and 5 did. I remember because my buddy theaters passes. And the passes don't cover Fathom Events.
Nope.
And him and I just were sitting there making fun of the movie the entire time.
I can't believe that there's 5 of these. I don't think there needs to be another one. Please don't do another one. Please.
I said that after the first one.
Well, they really didn't listen.
Now, apparently these movies well for their market, because one of the reviews on Letterboxd says the best part of the movie was when a Karen in the audience stood up at the end of the credits, looked right at us, and said, "Everybody in this room better be registered to vote, otherwise that is gonna happen." So I guess its core audience is really fucking into it.
I've never experienced anybody screaming in a movie theater about anything besides my father in War Room, which was great. I mean, yeah, in War Room, and it's in the scene where that old lady is on the phone and she's running around her kitchen.
Wasn't he like praising the screen or something?
Yeah. We're the only white people there. No, don't make it obvious. The only white people in the entire theater, and then there's me, my mom, and we're normal people. We are sitting there, and then there's my father. Hallelujah, praise the Lord, hallelujah. And then black women. Oh Lord, you better know it, girl. Preach it. And I went, okay, this is great. I love this. But okay, so Bridget Jones's baby, Paddington.
Yes, the first two movies I'll be very brief with. The first one's fantastic. Especially considering that when it came out, everybody thought it was going to look going to be dumb because it looked stupid the way it was edited for a trailer. And then they go and see it and they're like, what the hell? This is really great. Paddington 2 is one of the greatest sequels ever made. It literally is so heartfelt, is so charming, it's so funny. It does everything a sequel is supposed to do. It is supposed to improve upon its predecessor. And this did that in space. Like, it's not really a joke when Pedro Pascal in The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent says that one of his favorite movies is Paddington 2. It's a phenomenal movie. It really is. And Hugh Grant is awesome in that. It was a Hugh Grant week because he was in 3 of the Bridget Jones movies too.
Yeah.
So
Paddington
2 Paddington 2 is just amazingly fantastic. I loved it so much.
When my friend and I we used to go and see everything. We were walking down to the movie theater because we had nothing else, and we say to his mom, well, we're going to the movie, and she goes, what are you watching? And Matt goes, we're gonna go and see Paddington. She looks at us and goes, and she is redneck Southern. You're going to see the Paddington Bar movie? And I went, yeah. I don't know what happened when he walked home, but we walked out of there and we had the pants charmed off of us. It was too charming. My God, I love Paddington.
Yes.
I love that bear. Oh,
that ending made me happy cry. It's just so it's awesome. Becoming Led Zeppelin is a really good documentary. I won't spend too much time on this, but it's not the definitive Led Zeppelin documentary because it stops at 1970, so it literally is about them becoming Led Zeppelin. But it is the audience I saw it with was really interesting because they were like hardcore Led Zeppelin fans. So when the music was coming on, they were really vibing with it and everything, which, I mean, go off. It's your movie. I love Led Zeppelin music.
Yeah.
I really do. I'm not overly familiar with it, though. That's an oxymoron of a statement, isn't it? I love it, but I'm not familiar with it. No, I love hearing it. I love hearing all that old rock and roll and all that stuff. And Jimmy Page's voice, good Lord. If there was ever a voice made for Rock, especially during that time period, it was his. Um, but no, it's a very good documentary. Just like I said, it doesn't feel complete because it's not the whole story. So I don't know if they're going to do a follow-up documentary to this, like still Led Zeppelin or or something like that. But this was really good. Documentaries don't really get released to theaters a whole lot anymore, and that kind of disappoints me. So I try to see them when they come out to theaters. And this was the footage that they had of the live performances looked very stunning. Like they went and they found the original masters and they made them look as crisp and clean as possible. And it's really a marvel to see. It was a really good documentary.
Next up was Paddington in Peru.
Yes, I liked it. I was very disappointed by it, considering the benchmark that we had. We were all the way up here, and then all of a sudden here we are at just average territory. What really tears the movie down is I think they try putting too much into the mix. Yep. I wasn't a fan of the two human villains in this, Antonio Banderas and Olivia Colman. I also didn't like that Sally Hawkins is not in it as Mrs. Brown, as Emily Mortimer, which, don't get me wrong, Emily Mortimer is really good in this. She did a very good job. Mm-hmm. I've been used to Sally Hawkins for 2 movies. I kind of wanted to see her back. But it is a good movie. It's not, it's definitely the weakest of the 3, by far the weakest of the 3. But it's still good. So to be weak the weakest in a series and still be considered good or very good, that's got to be an accomplishment. Ben Whishaw is perfect for he wasn't the original choice for Paddington. Do you know who was? No. Colin Firth.
Really?
Yeah, Colin Firth was actually on. He recorded some of his lines, and he actually interacted with the actors from the first movie for like a week or so, and then they decided his voice just wouldn't sound like that distinguished. It would sound more youthful, so they brought Ben Whishaw on. So that is an interesting fun fact, because to hear Colin Firth's very deep baritone come out of there would be something. But Paddington in Peru was fine. I wasn't that in love with it. I wanted to love it more.
Yeah. I saw that too, and I'll get into that in my week. Captain America Brave New World.
So Molly and I saw this. We went Valentine's Day evening to see this. This was good. This was really good. I like seeing Marvel kind of, people came out of the woodwork and they're like, well, it's not very good and this, that, and the other. It's nice to see it. They reined the budget in from like $250 million to under 200. Yep. And it's like, it's not a story that's very outrageous or out there. It's like a political conspiracy theory or conspiracy movie, much like The Winter Soldier was. And if it worked back then, there's no reason it can't work again. I thought it was really good. The stuff with Red Hulk was the weakest part of the movie because the movie just became a flurry of CGI. And when it's very obvious at this point, 30-something movies in, when Marvel is not trying. So I'm very glad that, we got Harrison Ford's big red nipples and all that on the big screen, but I don't know, maybe make it look a little more convincing. So, but no, this was really good. And it definitely, because last year was our first Valentine's Day, and we saw Bob Marley, One Love, which was fine. But we saw Madam Web too, so we can't really nowhere to go but up.
So there was nobody hunting spiders.
Nobody down in the Amazon with their mothers hunting spiders right before they died.
Nope. All right, let's go to my week. Okay. So I decided to do the Water Boy.
Yeah, the
this-
Water Boy's really good.
It's a football movie. It's charming, it's funny, and it's right before the Super Bowl, which by the way, I'm so glad the Eagles kicked the Chiefs' ass, because my co-host and we were texting back and forth. Me and Kirsten back and forth, and I shit you not. The first play, that first drive, I'm like, they're gonna fuck the Eagles over, aren't they? And then, oh my lord, the whole rest of the game, it was the greatest football game I've ever seen. I was filled with so much joy. I was laughing, and I had to make sure that she was okay and her family was okay, because they're the biggest Eagles fans that I know. And it wasn't until like the Wednesday or Thursday after the football game was over, she finally went, okay, I think it's starting to hit me that we won the Super Bowl.
I have two takeaways from it, because I don't like football. I don't.
Yeah.
But I did catch the first half of it primarily to get to the halftime show. The halftime show, performed by Kendrick Lamar and SZA, was pulled off phenomenally.
Yeah.
I cannot believe, like, Molly and I were sitting there, and we were sitting there, we were waiting for it, and they kept delaying it and kept delaying it and kept delaying it. I'm like, oh my God, just get them out, because I want to see this. It was so energized, perfectly executed. SZA sounds beautiful live, just as she does. She is one of those rare artists that sounds as good as she does on her albums, because you go and see these people live and they're like, well, they don't sound as good as they do when I'm listening to it in the car or something. No, she is perfect. The halftime show is amazing, absolutely perfect. And I think it might have my favorite Super Bowl commercial of all time. It happened pretty early on, but it was an advertisement for Lilo and Stitch, the live action remake. They had him at first. Molly got confused because she thought it was a part of the game, because the cameras are kind of going over a football field. But no, you're following Stitch as he's just running across the football field, and they're trying to catch him. I thought that was the perfect way to promote this movie, because that's what they did back when the animated movie was out. They were doing parody stuff like that.
Yep.
And I was like, wow, that was the best commercial I saw all night, and the game hasn't even conducted a play. So those were my two takeaways from the Super Bowl. As far as I could give a damn less about the Eagles, and I'm in Cleveland. The team that we root for is the Browns. Every year is a fucking disappointment. So, except I don't root for the Browns now, because, first of all, I've never have. I think they're you have two players on there who want to play the game. Nick Chubb, who keeps getting fucking injured, and Myles Garrett, who almost left, and then they offered him money. But they made the worst trade in NFL history, spending well over $230 million to get a sexual predator on, and he doesn't even play the fucking game. He's also a shitty-ass quarterback, so that's my team. But at least the Cavaliers are doing wonderfully, so I have that to look forward to.
They are doing wonderful. I am a Cavs fan. I grew up a Cavaliers fan. I am also commandeered as a 76ers fan. So we're doing great. Yeah, when her and I talk sports, we don't talk about the Sixers because there's nothing good to talk about. So I watched Migration.
That's a good one. That's a really good one.
It's 82 minutes. It's 82 minutes. It's charming. It's fun. Oh my God. Does it have a heart? It has a heart. And it's an hour and 17 minutes without the end credits. And this is a movie that I can pop on at any point. And it's going to make me laugh. But it also has so much heart that I guarantee you, nobody with an actual heart can hate this movie.
Right.
Sure, all movies are subjective. There's no opinion that is objective in the movie world. But if you watch this movie and you don't like it, fine. Everything is subjective, but I just don't see how anybody can full on hate this movie.
No, I can't either. It's really a cute little thing. It's really good.
And it was the little movie that could, because it didn't open very well at all. It opened
Well,
very
I expected that because when animated films tend to open kind of low during the month of December, and that's the reason why they open in the month of December, because the holiday crowds start filtering in.
Yep.
So, no, it's really good. We saw it in theaters when it came out, and little man loves. So,
let me see. There we go. I was the opposite of you. My super ex-girlfriend. I was very disappointed in this. I did not laugh.
fair enough.
Luke Wilson, I like the guy, but Anna Faris is an actress I like a lot more than a lot of people do. She's very spunky. She's charming. She's funny. She knows how to play this role. Uma Thurman and Luke Wilson had no chemistry whatsoever.
No.
For me. And yes, that's the point of the film, but within the first like half hour to 40 minutes, you're supposed to believe that they're an actual couple. There's so many obvious signs that she is G girl. So, and he doesn't catch on at any point. Really? Okay. Now this is me here saying this, but the next film that I watched is very unrealistic as well. So I mean, fine, but I'm glad that you enjoyed it. I wanted to like it a lot more. Now this is one I've had a lot of anticipation for since it came out in theaters. Never come across it on DVD, on Blu-ray, and I've never found a copy of it. Well, damn it. There we go. Apollo 18.
Oh, I have that. I haven't watched it yet, though.
It's boring. It's very boring. This movie does literally nothing. It tries to be a horror movie while being a somewhat of a drama, but you're not liking the characters. The dialogue is bad. You don't believe anything that's going on in an actual film whatsoever. But I could go on. I really could. But this is one that a lot of people have not seen. This is one when it comes to streaming, watch it. But I'm going to preface this. This might be a trigger for some people. This is a movie about a emotional abuse relationship. And it's called I Love You Forever. Now, this movie is all about this girl who's 20.
Oh, I've heard of this. Yeah.
Yeah. And Allie feels like she's never going to be loved, and she's always going to have a one-night stand. Well, we get to the point where she meets Finn, who is played phenomenally by Ray Nicholson, who is great in everything. I mean, Ray Nicholson is taking after Daddy. Oh my god!
Yeah, he took off like a fucking bullet, dude. Like he's awesome.
He plays this role to a T. Now with Finn, he can go off on a dime. He has a smile on his face. He's happy and cheery, and he's charming and funny. She does something that he doesn't like goes out to a dinner with her college friends, and he calls her and calls her and calls her and calls her. And then she gets screamed at, full blast on the phone, and you feel so bad for her, but she's never felt love for anybody like this herself, and she doesn't want to lose that. What Cazzie David does here should be studied because she not only co-wrote this movie, she co-wrote the film, but she stars in it and she co-directs it. This movie is phenomenal. It is heartbreaking. It is funny. It is very original. It's about 90-something minutes. And there's moments where there's a really dark, emotional, sad scene. And her friends steal the entire movie because they are the comedic backdrops of the movie. They say the most out-of-pocket things with nothing to it. It is great to have them as your friends, but they also don't want to be the bad friends saying, hey, you need to leave him because of this and this and this. I'm not going to spoil what happens. And that's why I didn't show the entire review, because I went into spoilers, because I couldn't write the review without going into spoilers on it.
I just added that to my list for this year because that you have me intrigued now, because that sounds like it's really, really good.
Oh, give me just a second. My mom is give me a call. Give me just a second.
Yeah. All right. We're still live, and I'm the host. That's okay. I'm not going to say anything that's going to get Noah canceled. Well, I guess this would be a good time to plug my stuff. If you guys are still watching, you can find me on YouTube as Concrete Angel, KONKRETE, Angel, ANGEL. I'm near 1,000 subscribers, so that's awesome. I have some other projects that I'm working on. I'm actually writing a novel, so I'm excited about that. What else? I turned 27 in 2 months. It's fun. The weather up here in Ohio is pretty shitty. So if you're down in the tornado warning area, please take shelter. Also, St. Patrick's Day is coming up. Watch the Crichton Leprechaun news story on YouTube. I watch it every St. Patrick's Day. Could be a crackhead. I'm gonna get a backhoe. I'm gonna uproot the tree. I want to go. Give me to go. Oh. What else can I talk about? What else? Speaking of Ray Nicholson, we'll talk about this in March. But Novocaine, he's really good in that. Novocaine is a really good movie. Jack Quaid, thank God he didn't turn out like his dad. I don't know what happened with Dennis Quaid. I don't know what happened with him. Oh.
There we go.
I took care of it for like the last 2 minutes.
So sorry about that. She didn't know that we were doing a show, even though I told her.
Stuff happens, so don't even apologize for it. I went right into host mode.
All right. I've done that too, which is fun to do. But yes, I Love You Forever is not an easy film to watch, but I think it's one of the best films of the entire year. And if you thought that Ray was good in everything else, this shows his acting range, because this movie had no budget. This might have been made for a couple $100,000, and it looks phenomenal. This cinematography is great. It's well written, well acted, and very well. I'm telling you, the blocking, especially in the hotel scene at the very end, is phenomenal. I love this movie, and I can't wait to see everybody else see it. It is one that you need to see.
Yeah, I put that on my list. That's
try and speed down here so I don't get in trouble. Here we go. Better Man. I did not like this one as much as everybody else did, but it's okay, because I'm sure that you've heard the same exact thing as me. him being a monkey didn't work for me. I know why it's in there.
That's
It
fair.
just didn't work for me. And
That's fair.
I wasn't aware of his story. I wasn't aware of him, but there's one moment I absolutely love, and it's the scene where they are on the dock, and I believe the song is called "She's the One."
Yes.
Phenomenal
Oh,
scene.
that is a magical moment.
Oh, that moment made me just swell up. It's so good. Now, I wanted to like it more. It just didn't work for me, and I thought it was way too long at 2:15. But to each their own.
Yeah.
I also did the Bridget Jones movies. I like the first one quite a bit, actually. This actually went up. It's funny, it's charming, it's very solid, but I'm not going to really remember it. I think that this is my least favorite one, The Edge of Reason. Because there's only so many times where I can see her try and choose between the same guy.
And then they get in a fight again.
Yeah. And what really slowed this down was the scenes when she was in the jail.
I actually thought that's where the movie kind of picked up. So that's interesting.
Okay. I thought it slowed down, but I see why they did it, but it just hit me a different way. I'm in the vast minority, man. I didn't know what to expect with Bridget Jones's Baby. I freaking enjoyed this one a lot more. Her being pregnant was great. It was great. This feud between Firth and Dempsey is not only funny, but it's so warm because neither of them are being as assholish as Hugh Grant was, because Hugh Grant was just there to basically sleep with her. That was basically it. Wanted nothing to do with her. With both of these guys, they both love her and care about her. And finding out who the father is, very nicely done scene. I enjoyed this movie immensely, and I can watch any of these again. Mad About the Boy, it had really nice emotion, very sweet moments with her and her kids. I didn't see how we were going to do a sequel, because I thought, how are we going to do a sequel with him here? Well, not to go into spoilers, something happens. We can probably say they kill off the character of what's his name? Colin
Mark
Darcy.
Mark Darcy.
Yeah, Mark. They kill off Mark.
That happens right in the beginning, so I think
Yeah.
that, and they revealed it in the trailer, so I think it's safe to discuss.
And then she falls for a couple of different guys here. I'm not going to say who she ends up with, but that was a very nice touch.
Yes.
And their chemistry was phenomenal. Hugh Grant is in here without any explanation of why he faked his own death or what actually happened to him. Really, at the end of Baby, all they did was say, he's still alive.
Because he wanted to come back. He just didn't. He went on record saying he didn't like the script for Baby, so he didn't go on for that one.
And now with Mad About the Boy, he's just there in his car. He drives up and he walks up to her apartment.
Actually, I liked how he was handled in this one. The very few scenes that he has, I thought that he rounded out his arc very nicely.
And he really stayed true to form as well. I was so scared that they would pull a complete 180 on him, but he stayed completely true to who he was in all in both of the other films, and I like that. This is not a bad film. It's very, very solid. So for everybody who doesn't know how my grading works, I go by each star is a full grade. So a 5-star is an A+, and a half star is an F. So that's how I grade it. So for me, this was a C. Very, very solid film. I really enjoyed it. And if it comes to DVD, I can see myself really rewatching this one. The Parent Trap.
Speaking of Dennis Quaid, this was before he went nuts. So, all-time classic, man. It's so good.
I've seen this multiple times. I can't say anything else about it that hasn't been said. I mean, it's The Parent Trap. And Lindsay Lohan, her first starring role, phenomenal. This is a funny movie, a very romantic movie, and my God, I miss Natasha. Oh God.
I saw like a TikTok where they interviewed Quaid. I can't remember if it was for Reagan or when he did The Substance, but it was for one of those two. And they're like, "Do you want to do a Parent Trap reunion?" And he was like, "How could you do it without Natasha?" He goes, "I don't really think you could do it without her."
You can't. And isn't the grandfather gone as well? I think the grandfather's gone as well. Grandfather, I think, is gone, but Jesse and the butler are still around. Those ones I know. You can also get
Ronnie Stevens.
Yeah. Why can't I think of her first name? She played Janice. I know it's Wheeler. Janice. Oh, Janice. What is Janice's first name in real life? Oh God. Oh well. Oh my God. But
Janice's character, Janice. I'm not seeing it, Janice.
Oh no. She that was her name in Friends. She was the daughter of the
Maggie Wheeler.
Yeah.
Maggie Wheeler.
Maggie Wheeler.
Maggie Wheeler.
Damn. I knew it was Wheeler. I knew it was Wheeler. I was so close.
Yeah, the Parent Trap is a really, really strong movie. Especially, it just shows how much like attention span had back then, because that's a movie over 2 hours, and it's stuck with because it's really good. Molly loves it as well. She's a big fan of it, and it's I mean, how could you not? Like, it's really Lindsay Lohan turned around her life and cleaned herself up, and she is glowing as a mother. She is, and I cannot wait for Freakier Friday. That's going to be like a day one. Her and I are going to see that, and we're going to just have the time of our life.
When she came back, you know me. I am the Hallmark guy. When she did Falling for Christmas on Netflix, I was not a critic. I was a 2-year-old. I'm like, Lindsay Lohan's back, and it's Hallmark. And I smiled. I had a great time. I loved it.
I forgave, like, I turned my critic brain off when that came out too. I was like, you know what? I supported all like the DUIs and everything that she got, because I'm like, there's something going on. And she, you know what? She cleaned up her act. She turned it around, and she does not look. She couldn't look any healthier. She looked so healthy, and that to me is a true success story in Hollywood.
I'm so glad that two of my favorite actresses are now back in Lindsay Lohan and Cameron Diaz. I mean, with Diaz, it wasn't because of anything bad. It was just she was not having all the best of luck with her films. They weren't making money, and they weren't all that great. And she was getting panned. So she took about 10 years off, and rightfully so. I mean, she's a mother. She has a winery. She's married. She wants to be a wife. Do a movie when you want to do a movie.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of a yearly tradition, this has been one for many, many years. Valentine's Day. This is one that just charms me. It
I
is.
saw that in theaters with my mom, and I
Oh.
remember like it was
Mm,
it was it was interesting. I know that's a Taylor Swift movie. She's in it for a little bit.
yeah. She's dating Taylor Lautner, and he gives her this big white bear, and all they do in that movie is they're at school, and he's running track, and then she cheers, and then they make out like three or four times, and that's her arc. But I love this movie. With this movie, I use no critic brain. It's 2 hours of just pure gushiness. And on Valentine's Day, that's all I want is pure gushy, and that's what I got from it. And it's a
That
comfort
could be
watch.
interpreted two ways.
Well, yeah. Yeah. And then do I have another one on that day? Let me see. I don't think so. I don't believe I do. Here we go. No, I do not. So we will move on to Kyle's week. Well, there we go.
For the rest of the month, I'm going to kind of speed through them because 2 hours plus with you is always fun, but I don't want to run too long if that makes sense.
Yeah. All right.
So we talked about Bridget Jones, Mad About the Boy. The Gorge is up next. I liked it. It didn't go to theaters for a reason. I don't think a lot of people would have gravitated towards it, but as a one-time watch, it's good. Bridget Jones, Mad About the Boy again is really good. I'm Still Here is the next one. That was the last Best Picture nominee that I had to see, and the One Regal got it in like right under the wire, and I was like, shoot, yeah, I'll go see it. And it was me and one other dude. The Silent Hour. So this is the second movie that Joel Kinnaman has done, action movie, where he's lost a sense. He lost his voice in Silent Night, and he lost his hearing in The Silent Hour. So if he doesn't do 3 more movies where he loses his sense of smell, his sense of sight, and his sense of touch, I'm going to be very mad. Speaking of Diaz, this was one of her earliest roles.
Yep.
I liked My Best Friend's Wedding. I really did. The most famous scene from it is when they're sitting around the reception table and they're singing "I Say a Little Prayer for You." It made my fucking skin crawl. I don't like that at all.
Mm. This is a good movie.
Trashy as shit. Madonna is getting it on with her lawyer, who's played by Willem Dafoe. And he's trying to figure out whether or not she's innocent of or guilty of committing a murder.
Beastly.
Hated it. This movie just pissed me off. That he's a douche, and he gets turned ugly by Mary-Kate Olsen, who then just disappears. And by ugly, I mean he just kind of gets like this pretty henna art that's all throughout his body. And Vanessa Hudgens is like, ooh, that makes me weak at the knees. And it was fucking stupid. I hated it.
The Loved Ones.
As I said, horror movies, romance movies could be like expanded. And this was a romantic horror movie. And it is bizarre and it is fucking great. You should watch it. It's really good.
Now, this next one, I don't know if you're going to want to expand on or not, but oh God.
Yes. I will for a couple minutes because this really upset me. This is The Unbreakable Boy. So this was scheduled for release in March of 2022. Got pulled very abruptly, and now is seeing the light of day. Actually has come and gone because it didn't do very well in theaters at all, and rightfully so. This is a dangerous representation of autism. Number one, because it's very misguided, and number two, because the fucking kid is not even the main character of the movie. His own movie, he is not the main character. They made it seem like it was going to be this faith-based family film about Zachary Levi, who I used to like, and then he went off the deep end. He went the Dennis Quaid route, and I can't fucking look at him the same way anymore.
Nope.
he is this. It was going to be like Zachary Levi, and him dealing with his. I mean, already the trailer looked off because it's like, oh, he's a parent dealing with autism. Isn't that a burden? And I'm like, that's fucking weird. No, the kid, I would say he doesn't even get more than 10 minutes of screen time, which is awful. And that's terrible because the kid is so charming and so likable that you are so angry that they decide to focus on Zachary Levi's character. Zachary Levi is the main character of this movie. He is this father who is dealing with alcoholism. He's a very unlikable human being. He talks to this imaginary friend. Like there's this big dude that he talks to and like has beers with and everything. And it's mentioned very early on that by Austin. Austin is the kid and he's the narrator, that this dude is not real. And you're waiting for the movie to explain to you, who is this dude? Why does Zachary Levi keep seeing him or keep talking to him? I swear on my entire life, it is never revealed. Never once. You are supposed to just sit there and go along with him talking to this asshole. They hint, and I'll spoil this because nobody should see this. They hint that because he makes an offhanded joke. He's like, "Are you God? Because you show up to give me advice." And he's like, "No, I'm not God." And I'm like, "Okay, who the fuck are you then? Are you a friend of his that died and he can't let go of the memory of you? Are you like a manifestation of something that he can't let go of? Who are you? Why are you here? What are you doing?" There were a couple of other issues I had with it. Yes. Him and Megan Fahey, who portrays his wife, aren't a convincing couple at all. They look like they can't stand to be near each other. Yes, from my review, I said everything that Austin does, and he is a very passionate child, is met with confusion, irritation, or dismissal at every turn. One scene, Austin freaks out because his dad is not playing along with him. Austin pretends the kite they are flying is a dragon. Pretty fucking normal behavior even for a non-autistic child.
Yeah.
His dad complains when he starts freaking out that he can't see what Austin sees. Because, the concept of playing along with the kid using their imagination is too far out there. By the way, this kind of another kid. He's in it even less than the main kid. I don't know. I really hated this. I really did. I don't like... It's like movies where... representation matters. And you have to put movies in the right hands of those people to accurately portray that representation. Mm-hmm. Whether it's with abusive relationships, like you mentioned with I Love You Forever, whether it's with autism, whether it's with the LGBTQIA plus community, whether it's with mental health issues. I watched a movie last weekend called Continue, which we'll talk about in March. Quite possibly the best representation of mental health issues I have ever seen. That movie made me bawl my fucking eyes out. Representation matters. If you don't handle it appropriately, it's going to look foolish. This movie is beyond foolish. And it's so... I'm sitting there, and after the first 10 minutes, I'm like, please tell me that this kid is not going to be shoved off to the wayside. And after the first half hour, I'm like, fuck, he is. Great. So I hated this movie. If the kid wasn't in it, which he pretty much isn't, but if the kid was totally removed from it, it would have been 0 stars. Because I can't stand movies like this that manipulate the audience for no other reason than to manipulate them. But that was a tangent.
The monkey.
Yeah, I liked it. A little too goofy in tone. but I didn't mind it for what it was.
Next up here. Whoa, what just happened there? Wow. Okay. We will do this then because I don't know. Okay, here we go. The Cleaner.
Cleaner, really good. Really, really good. Short and sweet. Daisy Ridley is it's basically Die Hard again. Because she has to fight off terrorists that infiltrate this skyscraper, but she's a window washer. So for the first like 50 minutes or so of the movie, she's hanging outside on this like window washing platform, and she can only hear what's going on because she has like an earpiece and she hears the comms. And when the action comes, it's executed so beautifully. I really love this. When this comes to streaming, definitely check it out.
I believe it's coming to rental here in the next week, I think.
Watch it. It's awesome. Really, really good.
13 going on 30.
First time watched and I enjoyed it. I really did. Great soundtrack. Actually, I think I have the soundtrack here. Hold on. Give me a sec. Deadpool and Wolverine. Yeah, that's a classic. Already an instant classic. Where the hell is it? It's here somewhere. Give me a second, folks. Please bear with me. Oh, no, it's not in this pile. Damn it. But you have stuff like Vanilla Ice and Liz Phair and stuff like that. Really, really sweet movie. Really charming movie. And I'm glad I finally got around to watching it. I have been off screen. I'm so sorry.
You're fine. You're fine. All right, here we go. I
don't have a lot for the rest of it. Yeah, I don't have a lot for the rest of February. You just want to like do these last handful?
Yeah. Yep.
So Last Breath was a mystery movie Monday screening. Molly came to me with that. Came with me to that, excuse me. It was fine. I mean, given that the movie is a true story and you kind of know what that the movie's everything's gonna be turning out okay. There's really no suspense. The acting was really good. Woody Harrelson's in it. Woody Harrelson's pretty much good in everything. He acted a little strange in it. Like at one point they're waking up and he's like, Simu Liu is up in the top bunk. And he's like, hey, we got to get up, but do you want to come down for a 5-minute cuddle? I'm like, what?
Well, that's a line that only he could say and have it make sense, really. I mean,
so there's a line in this movie that kind of doesn't make sense, and her and I keep quoting it. It's like going into space, but underwater. Only in that the air pressure is different, but
okay.
The funniest moment. So the movie is about a diver who gets disconnected at the bottom of the ocean level, and when that cord like snaps and he disconnects, the soundtrack kind of goes mute, and all we heard was this old lady go, "Oh my God." No, it's a decent movie, but I just, it was one of those one-time watches. Like, I saw it, I probably don't need to see it ever again.
Yeah. What? I just lost your list.
I got it.
Okay.
I got my last four right here. I rewatched Just My Luck. I needed a comfort movie. I think I had a long day at work, and I was like, I don't want to think. And that movie is kind of stupid, but it's Lindsay Lohan and Chris Pine. Come on. I liked it a lot. This one I watched. So it was originally going to be the last day of Romance Month. I was going to end it 2 days early because I was at the theater the next day, and then I was doing coverage for the Short Sweet Film Festival on Friday. But that day, the news broke that Michelle Trachtenberg had died, which was a complete shock because she was only 39 years old. And at first I didn't know what had happened. So when I saw that she had passed, I was like, please don't tell me it was suicide. And it wasn't. It was apparently she had a liver transplant. She had complications with that. So I concluded my month of February at home watches with Ice Princess. I'd never seen the movie before, so I said, why not? I have to pay tribute to her because that, I've seen Harriet the Spy. It's really good. I've seen 17 again. I've seen a lot of her other work, but I haven't seen like her most famous work. And the thing that really, I don't know why my algorithm on TikTok is a little delayed. I was laying down this afternoon, and I was scrolling through, and all of a sudden there were a bunch of videos of people ice skating and sharing their stories about how they got into ice skating or how they became like Olympians, and they were like, rest easy, Ice Princess, and it's all set to the song from the movie by Ali and AJ, No One. And I'm sitting there getting all choked up. I'm like, oh my god, please stop. Ice Princess is really good. It solidified everything that made her terrific as an actress, and it's also just a fun movie. Like, you're watching a girl, like they showed this on Disney Channel all the time, so I would catch the commercial and, you're giving up on your dream. No, Mom, I'm giving up on your dream. So it's a really solid movie. I hope she rests peacefully. And then it came out the next day that Gene Hackman died. So it was a really whirlwind week. And shame on the fucking Academy for not including Trachtenberg in that, and Tony Todd and Shannon Doherty and a bunch of other people in that in memoriam section. Because I'm like,
yep.
Dude, if you had the time to put Gene Hackman in there, you could have fucking did that.
I mean, it's a picture. Show a picture or something.
She's up there for 5 seconds. She deserves it. She's been in the industry. Don't be rude. Especially, and with Tony Todd too. Tony Todd was a very charismatic figure. And when he died, it kind of hit me a little bit because I'm like, shit. But the last two movies for February are both theatrical releases. I don't have too much to say on them. I both liked them. They were Riff Raff, which was like a mob comedy, and My Dead Friend Zoe, which was pretty solid. Kind of a little awkward in the way it ended things, but very admirable, I will say. I will say the best thing I watched in February for the first time, it's probably going to be Cleaner. I really liked Cleaner a lot. And the worst thing was kind of pregnant.
I will fly through mine as well. I also watched this. I don't know why it didn't update the score because I'm going to rewatch this probably this upcoming week. It's a comfort movie. It's short. It's 13 going on 30.
Really good.
Thriller. My all-time favorite Scooby-Doo movie, Scooby-Doo and the Cyber Chase. I needed something to watch before work on a Sunday morning, and it's 73 minutes. I mean, come on. It is charming. It's short. It's sweet. Just go with it. It's Adam Sandler. What else do I have to say? Now, yes, there are some very nice scenes, but it's very funny. Nick Swartzen gets on my nerves. He gets on my nerves.
He irritated me in that one.
I made this a very special one because this was my 75th movie of the year. It just turned 75 on that day, so I decided to do Cinderella.
Synergy. I mean, that's perfect.
And I timed it because I'm like, wait, I want to watch something else, but I gotta watch that first. It's an all-time classic. I don't know why it says 4.5 because I already did the 5-star there. Okay, cool. Whatever. And then my family and I went to go and see Paddington in Peru. Funny story about this one. I had the worst experience of my life at a movie theater within the first 30 minutes of it. This little kid behind me would not stop kicking my damn seat.
At that point, you turn around and kick him back. No.
Oh, no. Well, here's the sad thing. The kid had already seen the movie. And the theater is decently full. And it's just saying everything out loud. So here's where this person is, and here's why they find Lucy. And I'm like, kid, first off, you are kicking my seat. Stop it. And you just spoiled the movie. It's Paddington. It is not that big a deal, but it's Paddington. But then you know how big of a scaredy cat my father is. He gets scared by the littlest things. One scene in this movie.
Was it the spider?
No. It was when the
Really?
snake.
Oh, yeah.
I move seats. And about 10 minutes later, there goes a snake, and his fucking legs go, ah! Okay. Great. But I love this movie. This is my favorite movie of the year so far. It is charming. It's funny. I miss Sally, but it's Paddington. What else can I say that hasn't been said? And then I did a first time watch, No Country for Old Men.
I still got to see that.
A couple of my friends have said I need to watch this. It's an all-time classic, and my God, it is. It is riveting. It is 2 hours, and it feels like you're watching it for an hour. It moves incredibly quick. It's tense. It's perfection. It is phenomenal. La Dolce Vita. It is a forgettable rom-com, but it's fine. It's fine. Werewolves. This should have been more. It got lazy. The makeup is but the acting's all right.
I love Frank Grillo, so I was on board for a little while.
I watched this because one, I am a Hallmark fan, but I got to talk to both. Well, technically three actors from it. Both Jake Foy. My God, Jake Foy is one of the nicest human beings I've ever interviewed, and it's Emily something. Emily Tennant. She is a sweetheart, and one actor in here who is great is Matt Hamilton. He's a Hallmark actor, and in our interview with Jake, he full on admitted and spoiled everything. All the Hallmark people do swear on set, and the audience did not like that, but it's okay. Watch my interview with Matt Hamilton, because nobody has swore more. And within 5 minutes, it's motherfucker this and cocksucker that and fucking. And I'm like, okay, great. Well, this is no longer a Hallmark page.
Damn, that's already my favorite interview, and I haven't even seen it yet.
It's great, and I can't wait to talk to Matt again. He sent me a video, literally as we were doing this. I love the guy to death. Such a sweet movie. It's all about they have a birthday in the same week, and they get each other's wish.
That's cute.
And
that
so
actually sounds like something I'd watch.
It's basically she gets a farm, and he wants a farm, and she wants to be on a dancing show and win, and he gets that wish. It's very sweet. It's wholesome. It's charming. 3.5. I hadn't seen this in a few years. The Other Guys, an action comedy that's freaking stupid, but it's so much fun. Oh,
I love that one. I love that one.
And the unrated version, I haven't seen the unrated version in a few years, but the PG-13 cut, perfection. Little Mermaid, I needed something short. It's a beloved classic. It's not one of my favorites, but it's a beloved classic for a reason.
I believe that The Little Mermaid is in my top 10 animated Disney films of all time. There's something about it that works so well. I love it. And the live action remake was also really good. Halle Bailey was awesome as Ariel. Snow White is this weekend, or this upcoming week. We'll see. Fingers crossed. I don't know. Again, the movie is not out, so I can't say anything. But
Yeah.
Just fingers crossed.
You-
I'm hoping.
You know who that is going to hurt more? Me. Because if it sucks, I will have to eat so much crow,
Hey, you know what?
but it's fine.
There are worse things.
But everyone thought I was going to have to eat crow when I said that Mufasa was going to make more than Sonic. This time I am wrong. Snow White is not going to have a Mufasa effect. I realize that now. I'm going to admit it. It might flop, but then again, Little Mermaid was said to flop and it broke even. So we will see. We will see.
Mufasa, man, I can't.
I mean,
fucking-
700 million off of a $35 million opening.
Well, that's
700
because, like, again, it's the Holican crowd. So but I don't understand how it had that momentum to stay in theaters for that long. It's not that good.
I have no idea. Maybe it's just like maybe it's a easy watch. I'm not sure. So then I did some revisiting. Stuart Little is a childhood comfort film for me. It's 84 minutes. It's wholesome. It's charming, and that's all it needs to be.
I like Stuart Little, but I like the second one a lot more.
I think it's fine, but I will not say it's a bad film. I haven't seen it as much. I've seen it multiple times.
Do you want to know? I'm going to share one last Hollywood fun fact for you.
Yeah.
It's from Stuart Little too. People Magazine came out with it. I believe, yes. This is real. Producer Lucy Fisher told the following story during the Hollywood Reporters Producers Roundtable. Quote, Stuart Little 2 producer said the cat's anus fell out during filming. It went back in and we continued. Film producer Lucy Fisher was a part of the Hollywood Reporters Producers Roundtable. She followed a story about Anora. I was an executive for 25 years. We did have a cat's anus fall out on Stuart Little 2. It prolapses, but it went back in and we continued to shoot. I remember the day that came out, I sent that to everybody and I said, remember Molly cracked up. She goes, "Is that real?" I said, yep.
I want to be in that room because I would be the most unprofessional and childlike person in that room. I would
have been shocked because when I heard that, I was like, "Oh my god!"
Moving quickly. Okay, so I love 1. I like 2. I had not seen the third one. Have you seen the third one, Kyle?
Still haven't seen it. I have not seen it. No.
Okay.
I take it from your tone. I shouldn't.
1 out of 5. This is the most god-awful piece of shit animated movie I have ever seen. It is so poorly written. It is so poorly acted. Hugh Laurie and Gina Davis, that I guarantee you, they recorded their lines on the toilet because it sounds awful. It's so echoey. There's no sound balancing at all. And they couldn't even get Jonathan Lipnicki back.
Watched it with your. You should have watched it with your dad since he likes watching things on the toilet.
Oh,
he'll be watching diarrhea, so it's.
He would have hated it, but he heard me going, ugh, oh my god. And it's only 75. It's longer. It's longer than the second one for some ungodly reason. Some ungodly reason. Oh god. I will never watch it again unless I do a 3-peat again. Oh god, I love this movie.
Now I definitely need to watch it.
Silver Linings Playbook.
I do too. It's a great movie.
Fly, Eagles, fly. Fly, Eagles, fly. Love it. it is easily one of the most likable, sad films of all time because there's no other scene that breaks your heart more than when he has a breakdown and he ends up fighting with his father. And like you, I paid tribute with Ice Princess. I had not seen it. And
it's sorry, Molly made me laugh really hard because she texted me and it came in a little late. She just said anal prolapse is tragic. It made me choke. Way to ruin a somber moment, Kyle. We're talking about a dead dude.
But blame it on Molly. No, I'm kidding, Molly. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But with Ice Princess, I sent the news to Kirsten, and she was heartbroken because she was born in 2003, which I believe that's the same year the movie came out. I believe
2005. The movie
okay.
came out in 2005.
So she grew up with this movie on repeat. And we did one interview, and her father said, "God, I've seen that damn movie enough. I had to rewatch that with you over and over and over and over again." And I'm like, "I've never seen it." And her face was heartbroken and shocked. And I said, "I promise I'm gonna watch it at some point." And then she passed away, and I'm like, "This is the perfect time to watch the movie."
Yeah, it's sad that some point happened to when she passed away. I mean, like I said, I was watching those stories how people said that they were inspired to become like 3 times. One of them was from a 3 Olympic gold medal athlete. It's all because of this movie. I'm like, oh my God, do you have to put this sad song behind it, you asses? I can't.
And that was everything I watched. I was about to show March 1st, but then I saw the date and I'm like, no, that's March. So you guys will see that at some point next month. But
Yes,
this is the
will.
longest stream that I've ever done. But this is an awesome show. I love to do this every single month. It's a great joy to have fun with you, but also just bullshit.
Absolutely.
I mean, we talk movies, but we talked about farts. We talked about pregnancy. We talked about a cat asshole falling out. It is a great thing.
Anal prolapse. That's a first for you on the channel, I guarantee you.
Well, I did one interview for a Hallmark movie, and I shit you not, we went from the movie talk to talking about dogs to talking about the director's first colonoscopy.
When next time you do your Hallmark podcast with Kirsten, I want you to bring up that news story about Stuart Little too and see what her reaction is to it. Matter of fact, let me copy and paste that link real quick here.
Well, let me show you something here, because I want to show this on stream because I don't get to show this often. Let me see if I can pull this up here. Okay, so this is Matt Hamilton, and how to put this? Okay, so let me pull this short up. This is something to be seen, because Matt Hamilton is, God love him, he's awesome, but he has no filter. So this is what Jake Foy has to say about Matt Hamilton. I've ever met. He's the most genuine human being I've ever met. So what was he like to work with on set?
I should answer how Matt would answer. And
Yes.
I don't know what I'm allowed to say on this podcast, but Matt would be like, "Oh, total shithead, worst guy, couldn't stand him, like barely talked to me, wouldn't make eye contact." No, Matt is funny because when you haven't worked with Matt before, which I had not before this project, he's just so, he's sort of like, is American Dad the name of that other Family Guy show? He's kind of like American Dad, and he says everything that comes to mind, and it's big and loud and sincere, but his heart is equally big and loud and sincere. It's very, very funny to have those two things exist in tandem. So when I first met Matt, I was like, oh, this is going to be the type of character where I'm not sure that we'll be oil and water or not, but Matt and I were thick as thieves, and I work with him again in a second, and I think that's part of why Matt is so busy. He really makes work a party, and it's effortless for him. So that's all there is. I can't say more about that without being. He's the most genuine human being I've ever met.
So this is what was sent to me by Matt Hamilton while we were doing this podcast. Which, seeing a chat come from Matt Hamilton, I'm like, what in the fuck is going on here? Because first, what did I do? But then this is what it was. So let me just pull this up, and here we go. Well, maybe. Here we go.
Hey, Noah. I appreciate the podcast. That was so cool. You said some really nice things about me. Here's the thing that bothers me. You had Jake on. Like, I don't really believe anything Jake says. And I'm in the middle. No, don't cut me. No, yeah. Fine, cut it. Hey, no.
God, I love Matt.
I've never seen Matt Campbell before that, and he looked exactly how I pictured him.
He's the greatest guy. He swore, and he was asked, so who would you want to do one film with? And the one person, I've interviewed her a couple times, and all he said was that this lady. But you're not that cool, so don't get a big head there, Budsby. And I went, well, only people who you're friends with in the film community and in the actor world can do that. I mean, my God. Oh, but we have two new podcasts. We have an interview with Nathan, Chara, and Catherine from the Hallmark film Unwrapping Christmas, Mia's Prince, which came out in November, and I've been working a long time. We have the three main cast members of the film all on the one podcast. And then on April 4th, we will be talking to Christopher Russell, who I call Hallmark Superman because he has the jawline, he's ripped, it's unfair, it's stupid. It's stupid. But I've been told that he's the nicest guy, and I've been trying since we started this. God, I love it. And Kirsten, happy birthday. I haven't said it on stream yet.
Happy birthday.
And stay tuned because we will be having a new channel just for the podcast. So it's not on my channel. And the first video on there will be the birthday video that I made for her, which
nice.
She was very surprised with. She loved it. And be very kind because I love her to death. She's my co-host. I love Amanda, and I love everybody in that video. So thank you, everybody, for this podcast. It is amazing. And thank you, Kyle, for coming on. This is always a great time.
You got it so that way Molly looks forward to this as well. I mean, she gets more excited than I do, and I can't blame her because this is a fun time. This is a really nice, laid-back time. You're very, very open. You're very easy to talk to. You're a genuine dude. And people like you have the utmost respect in my book. This is always fun. I'm always going to come on. You're always going to have me on. You're going to have my time. It's just fun. It really is. So thank you for having me on. That's what I mean. Thank you for allowing me to come on.
Well, thank you for being a part of a new show, because this is our show now. So we can do whatever we want and say whatever we want. So I'm going to wrap this up with a couple of things. So would anybody like to hear a couple of awful jokes? Because my grandma thought these were the greatest jokes in the entire world. And my uncle has a brand new favorite joke he's ever heard. Do you want yeah, okay. Do you want the Dr. Pepper one first, or do you want the carrot one first?
Shoot. Give me the carrot.
Okay. What did the carrot say to the vibrator?
Oh, Jesus Christ. Wow. I don't know. What did it say?
Why are you shaking? I'm the one who's going to be eaten.
Oh, God. That's actually good.
If you thought that one was bad. So do you drink the drink Dr. Pepper?
Of course.
Okay. Why does Dr. Pepper come in a can, Kyle? Why?
I think I've heard this before. I can't. I know it's a sexual thing, but go on.
Because his wife's dead. Molly!
I saw one where a guy was like, yeah, my wife called and said that she saw a fox driving on her way to work. My wife called and said that she saw a fox driving on the way to work. And I asked her how she knew it was driving on the way to work, and she hung up on me.
Well, one of my grandma's favorite jokes is so this guy goes into the doctor's office, and he's supposed to give a sample of his specimen, and so he goes home, and he's supposed to do his thing, and about 3 days later he walks back into the doctor's office, and he hands the cup to him and goes, there. And the doctor goes, it's empty. Why is it empty? Well, doc, I'll tell you why it's empty, okay? I tried. I tried to twist it. I tried to go up and down with it, and it would not do nothing. And then my wife tried. And she tried to use her mouth. It still wouldn't do nothing. So then the neighbor came over, and she tried. So what does that have to do with the sample? What the fuck you mean the sample? The damn cap wouldn't come off the cup.
That's good. That's really good. That's. As soon as we're off here, I'm going to go upstairs and tell my uncle that joke, because that's a really good joke.
Well, everybody, we will have a brand new show at some point next week. Once we get off here, we will talk about when we will do this again. And yes. I can't do this without doing one joke, because this is our show. We've already talked about it, so
everyone leave. I have to poop. No.
All right, guys. Like and subscribe if you're new. We will see all of you guys next time for Noah and Kyle Live, where we will be reviewing everything we watch in the month of March and talking about more farts and cats' anuses and pregnant ladies falling down and laughing about it. Bye, everybody.
All right. I'll see you.